Hey, YouTube, as always, I hope you're having a great week. Soon to be Easter weekend, right? And this video we're going to call True Giving. You know, Easter's all about God's great love for us and how he gave us the greatest gift, his son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross that we might be saved. But you know, God also wants us to follow his example. Jesus said in Luke 6:27-36, he says this, "But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who spitefully use you. To him who strikes you on the one cheek, offer the other also. And from him who takes away your cloak, do not withhold your tunic either. Give to everyone who asks of you, and from him who takes away your goods, do not ask them in return, or ask them back. And just as you want men to do to you, you also do to them likewise. But if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. If you lend to those whom you hope to receive back, what credit is that to you? For even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much back. But love your enemies, do good, and lend, hoping for nothing in return, and your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High. For he is kind to the unthankful and evil. Therefore be merciful, just as your Father also is merciful." When I read this, I see three parts, right? The first part is in 27-31. It's talking about how we should love others, right? It's some bad things here. He says, our enemies, those who hate us, those who curse us, those who spitefully use us, those who strike us on one cheek, give them the other. Those who steal from us, give them more. Those who ask of you, give to them, right? This is how we should love others. And going on even further, it says, and if there's anything else, right? However you want to be meant to treat you, you do to others, right? This is how we should love others. There should be no end to our love. It shouldn't be, man, that person, they did this to me, I can't love them no more. They did that, I can't love them no more. They stole from me, I can't have nothing to do with them anymore. In fact, I would say that this is talking about being up close and loving them. Because it's kind of hard for someone to smack you on one cheek and you to turn the other one and let them smack you on the other one if you're far away from them, right? It's not saying love them from afar. It's saying love them just as you want them to do to you. And some might say, well, I don't want to know nothing from anybody. Let me tell you something. I don't see anywhere in the Bible where it talks about how we need to love ourselves more. See, I don't think God thinks we have a problem with loving ourselves. I know he doesn't. As much as we might say, I'm having a hard time loving myself, I'm having a hard time, feeling good about myself. The truth is, it's because we're not receiving some kind of love or attention that we want. It's a selfishness. That's not lack of love for yourself. That's selfishness. And God's saying, do to others as you'd have them do to you. If you feel that way, I dare you to go out and find anybody, somebody, everybody, and give them the love that you wish you had. Give them the attention that you wish you had. And see what happens. See what happens, right? So that's the first part. And the second part is, saying, hey, did you listen to what I said? I said, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. See, there's a level of, I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. There's, this family member, that family member, this person I know, this old friend, whatever it might be. I've done that. I've loved them, regardless of what they've done to me. But God's saying, why are you stopping there? You have a limit. You're limiting your love on who you'll love. That's what everybody does. People that love them, they love them back. People that do good to you, you do good to them back. That's no big surprise. People that lend and get money back from it, everybody does that. That's no big surprise. He's saying, do it to people without expectation of return of that same thing. Love them in that way. Which brings us to the third part, and that is why. And the third part is about us, right? It says, but love your enemies, do good, and lend, hoping for nothing in return, and your reward will be great. and you will be sons of the Most High. For he is kind to the unthankful and evil. Therefore, be merciful, just as your Father also is merciful. So he's saying here, he's not saying, hey, you do these things, you're going to receive a salvation. You're not going to earn salvation like that. What he's saying is that if God lives inside of you, these things should happen. You should, lend, not expecting in return. You should love those who are your enemies. Do good to others, right? You should do these things because God lives inside you. And then we look at, for he is kind to the unthankful and evil, and we think, oh, he's talking about them people, the evil people at the beginning, the enemies, people that hate us. No, he's talking about you. Do you not remember? You were once an enemy of God. You were unthankful for what the love that you received from God. You cursed God. You tried to steal from God. You know, that's who you were. But God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for you. He loves you even though you were his enemy. He loved you and gave everything for you. He was merciful to you. So be merciful to others. He's talking about you. He's talking about me. He's saying, don't you remember? Do for others as I did for you. Follow my example. Many times we look at this and we say, okay, well, I've loved others. I've loved those I don't know. I've loved those I'm close to. But when do you stop? What is the limit to your love? What is true giving, in other words? What is true love? In Luke 21, 1-4, Jesus says this, and he looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow putting in 2 mites. So he said, truly I say to you, that this poor widow has put more than all. For all these out of their abundance have put in offerings for God. But she out of her poverty put in all the livelihood that she had. And we read this and we say, okay, what does that mean? Do you give until it hurts? Do you give more than you can afford to give? In other words, maybe you got to buy, there's something you want to buy, or there's a bill you have to pay, and you see somebody in need. You say, I can't afford to do that right now, God. If only you gave me more. No, see, we're giving out of our abundance then. We're giving out of our abundance. See, this poor widow, she didn't give out of her abundance. It's like she walked in with her last 2 nickels, her last $2, and said, here, Lord, it's yours. Maybe that was her last meal. Maybe that was her rent payment. Maybe that was everything she had to supply any kind of food for her children. And she gave it to God. That's what God said she actually truly gave. One gave out of abundance. And it's not saying that you shouldn't. But it shouldn't stop there. And why is that? Because Jesus didn't stop there. God didn't stop there. He didn't give you something he created. He gave you something that was irreplaceable. The most valuable gift in all of anything in the universe. He gave himself. He gave his son, Jesus Christ. He didn't come down to earth and say, oh, this is going to be too hard. These people, they're rejecting me, and leave before he died. He gave everything for you and for me. That's what the Easter story is. He gave everything. And you might say, well, he's God. He knew how it was going to end. He knew he was going to rise from the dead. Yeah, but you don't get it. He never had been separated from God. Jesus had never experienced separation from God. He had no reason to come here and be put to death by his own creation. Other than the fact that he loved us. He loved you and he loved me. No matter what we've done. Even those who nailed him on the cross. It makes me wonder, right? How it must have haunted him. Man, you know that guy we put on that cross the other day? I don't get it. No matter what we did, he looked on us with such love. Even as we nailed him to that cross. You know, we might have put people to death before that didn't really deserve it, but man, they didn't look on us with that kind of love. How it must have haunted them, I wonder. I wonder if it touched their heart. See, the truth is, it was me and you that nailed him to that cross. And yet he looked on us with love. Regardless of what we did to him, he said, I love you and I forgive you. But the question is, will you accept it? Will you accept it? And if you do, will you show that same love to those around you, those you know and those you don't know, those you get along with and those you don't? Will it have a limit, or will it be limitless? That's the question. You know, you might be really rich, and it's hard to not give out of your abundance of wealth and money-wise. But maybe it's your time that you're having a hard time giving. Maybe it's your forgiveness. Maybe you don't have a lot of that. And it's hard. God's saying, do it anyway. It doesn't have to be monetary wealth. It can be love. And like I said, forgiveness and mercy. And just caring and spending time with somebody. It doesn't have to be one thing. Giving doesn't end with the almighty dollar. It's every part of you, your entire livelihood. I hope you have a great Easter weekend. I hope if you don't know Jesus Christ, that his love for you would move something in you, that you would want him, that you would accept him and accept his love in your life, and that you would go and show it to others. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.